Welcome to Sporty's IFR Insights series, getting the most from your instrument rating. I'm Spencer Suderman. Some of you may remember me from the Sporty's Advanced Pilot Skills series. In this episode, we're going to plan and file for a cross-country IFR clearance from Jacksonville Executive at Craig Airport to Daytona Beach International Airport. Then we'll go flying and see the interaction with ATC and how to use iPad apps to get real-time traffic and weather en route. This was flown in VFR conditions, so you can easily visualize what is happening while enjoying a trip over the beautiful Florida beaches. The video starts with step-by-step instructions on how to use an iPad to electronically plan the flight and file for the IFR clearance. However, if you want to go directly to the in-flight action, just click ahead. It's the morning of the cross-country IFR flight. I have an iPad right here to show how quick and easy it is to file an IFR flight plan with ForeFlight. ATC will accept them up to 22 hours prior to the proposed departure time, so no reason to wait until the last minute. Open ForeFlight on your iPad, then tap the Flight Plan button, then start typing the departure and destination airports. If you don't know the identifiers, just type the name of the airport in the search box and it will come right up. Notice a direct to magenta line appears on the map. Now tap the Share button to bring up the options and tap Flights. You should see your new flight plan at the top of the left side. ForeFlight pre-populated most of the required information on the right side of the screen. However, you still need to update or confirm a few options. Let's start with the estimated time of departure. ForeFlight assumes you are departing within a few minutes. Tap on the time and set the actual anticipated departure time, which is 11 a.m. for this flight, then tap Close. Confirm the departure and destination airports. If the weather conditions at the destination require an alternate, you can easily pick one by tapping Alternate. ForeFlight has already chosen suitable alternates based upon the alternate minimum weather requirements. For today's flight, with VFR weather in the area, an alternate is not required. However, I'll pick Orlando Sanford International just to show how it's done. Then tap the blue button that says Add KSFB and it will be inserted into the flight plan. Next, confirm the correct aircraft and equipment code is selected. Then confirm the flight rules field is set to IFR. If it's set to VFR, just tap and change it. Scroll down and tap Routes to bring up the Route Advisor screen. This shows previous routes that ATC has cleared for these particular departure and destination airports. For this flight, I've chosen to travel along Victor Airway 51 at 5,000 feet, which is a straight line from the Craig VORTAC radial 164 to the Ormond Beach VORTAC radial 342. Then hit Select Route and it will be added to the flight plan. Given that this is an IFR flight, I expect that ATC will vector me off Victor 51 towards the instrument approach into Daytona well before the Ormond Beach VORTAC. We'll see that happen later during the flight. Now scroll down and preview payload and fuel. ForeFlight calculates minimum fuel required for the trip based upon the policy set and legal requirements. You can also see how the aircraft weight changes throughout the flight as fuel is burned. Scroll down and look for the Pack button, then tap it. This brings up the Pack screen, which tells you that some information needs to be downloaded for this flight. Tap the Pack button to start the download. When it's finished, tap Close. Next, tap the Proceed to File button and review all the information on the screen. Make sure the pilot in command information is correctly entered. I will add my information now. After you file, ForeFlight sends confirmation to whatever email address is entered, so make sure it's correct. Enter your phone number and pilot's license as well. After all the required information is in, then tap the File button, then tap File again on the confirmation screen. After the confirmation, you'll have the option to cancel or amend the flight plan. You can do this later as well simply by returning to the flight screen and selecting this flight plan. Tap Close, then tap the Share button at the top right, then tap Map to send the flight plan to the map screen, and notice the entire flight plan is now visible. Close the flight plan screen and look at the map. You'll notice the Victor Airway is shown along with the minimum en route altitudes for each segment. A few hours later, right before departure, I checked the weather in Daytona Beach and learned that the winds favor runway 25, so I'll go back into ForeFlight and pick an approach. Tap on Flight Plan, then tap Procedure, then Approach, then RNAV GPS runway 25. I don't know yet if ATC will assign the full approach from PASI or give me vectors to final, so for now I'll pick the PASI initial approach fix, and since I'll be flying this as an LNAV, select those minimums. This is just informational within ForeFlight. Then tap Add to Route. Keep in mind, The way it's shown on the screen is not how ATC will direct this flight, and ForeFlight has no idea, so it literally displays the flight plan as entered. In the real world, ATC will take you off of Victor 51 with vectors to PASI well before reaching the Ormond Beach VOR. Don't worry about this. The great thing about IFR is that ATC tells you what to do. The next step is to brief the approach plate, and I will do that before takeoff. Briefing an LNAV approach was covered on another episode in this series, so let's jump right into the plane where I'm about to pick up the clearance before taxi.
Craig ground, Cessna 814, Mike Victor, picked up IFR clearance.
Eight 14 Mike Victor, Craig clearance, clear to Daytona Airport is filed. After departure, maintain 3000. Expect 4000, 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 124.9er, squawk 5514.
Clear to Daytona Airport is filed. Expect 3000, 4000 in 10 minutes. Departure frequency 124.9er, 5514 is the squawk for 814 Mike Victor.
That's 814 Romeo, 814 Mike Victor, Craig, reback is correct, advisory taxi.
Craig ground, Cessna 814 Mike Victor on Delta at Bravo, information Foxtrot taxi 32.
814 Mike Victor, Craig ground, runway 32 taxi via Bravo Charlie.
Bravo Charlie 32, 814 Mike Victor. Controls. Instruments. We'll come back to the GPS in a moment. Okay. Let's get our plan set in. So we're going to go to Bund. Load airway. Enter. ADB. Proc. Approach. There's a good chance we're doing
Squawk 4260.
minimums. For 60. We're loaded and ready to go. Craig Tower, Cessna 814 Mike Victor, holding short runway 32 IFR release.
Roger, right back to you. 814 Mike Victor, Craig Tower, 32 from Echo, clear for takeoff, turn right heading 100.
Clear for takeoff, right heading 100, 814 Mike Victor.
Craig Tower 860 Charlie Papa is midfield downwind runway 32. It's touch to go.
0 Charlie Papa, stay on the downwind back to you.
Stay on the downwind for 0 Charlie Papa.
And it's 1196 Mike.
Yeah, that's correct. 1196 Mike.
1196 Mike. Make the right turn there. Use Foxtrot. 23 Foxtrot. Clear for takeoff. Proceed on course.
Roger. 23 Foxtrot. Clear for takeoff. Appreciate it. 906 Mike.
And 70 Delta Whiskey. Hold short of runway 32 while you work on that IFR release.
Holding short of 32, 70 Delta Whiskey.
And 4 Mike Victor, you got that traffic off your right wing there on the downwind side?
Traffic in sight, 14 Mike Victor.
Thank you. It's switching. There we go. I got it now. 4 Mike Victor. Now you can contact departure 124.9. Good day.
Departure 124.9 or so on. Jack's approach, Cessna 814 Mike Victor, climbing through 2 for 3000.
814 Mike Victor, departure ident, maintain 4000.
Ident, maintain 4000, 814 Mike Victor.
And Sirius 6 Alpha Tango, that traffic 12 1 o'clock, 2 miles northbound, 3,500 feet. Great, 4 Mike Victor, at contact 3 east of the Craig Airport. I'm showing you at a 2.4. Flight heading 140, vector climb.
140 for 814 Mike Victor.
6 Alpha Tango, roger, contact St. Augustine, enjoy your day. back, 4 Mike Victor, clear direct Daytona Beach.
Clear direct Daytona Beach, 814 Mike Victor.
Now I've reached cruising altitude on a heading to Daytona, so let's look at the data ADS-B provides en route. Tap arrow and category to open the tab. Notice the information overlays, including visual weather from radar that are available from ADS-B. It's severe clear and VFR all over the East Coast today, so no precipitation returns to see on radar. Until now, ForeFlight has been set to show the aeronautical map, which is their proprietary view and preferred by most pilots. Let's change that to a standard low-altitude IFR chart, then pinch zoom out a bit to see the entire flight, including the overlaid approach plate. That's a lot of visual clutter and hides the on-screen traffic too. Now let's go back to the aeronautical chart, which is much easier on the eyes, and the green triangles representing other planes are well visible. Now let's pinch zoom out to show a wider geographical area and randomly tap an airport in Georgia. See how the METAR was obtained via ADS-B? Let's pick another one farther up the coast. This one is located in Virginia. The METAR was obtained via ADS-B, and so is the TAF. ADS-B is a free service. All you need is ADS-B capability built into your avionics, or a portable receiver like the Sentry Plus, suction cupped to the window.
November 814 Mike Victor, contact Daytona approach 11885.
Daytona approach on 11885 for 4 Mike Victor, so long.
Whisper Jet 32, contact approach 1270, they'll have on course.
2070, Whisper Jet 32, good day.
North mile southwest of Daytona Beach International Airport. All departures contact clearance delivery 119.3 prior taxi. Advise on initial contact that you have information, Quebec. Daytona Beach International Airport information, Quebec 1553 Zulu observation, wind variable 4, visibility 10, few clouds 14,000, temperature 15, 2.2, altimeter 3020. Visual approach runway 25 right, immediate flight apart runways 25 right, 25 left. Approach speed conducted to parallel, intersecting runways. Notes there.
Daytona approach, Cessna 814 Mike Victor, level 4000.
Cessna 814 Mike Victor, Daytona Beach, good afternoon. Advise having ATIS, Quebec, expect the visual approach 25 right, unless you have request.
814 Mike Victor has information. Quebec would like the RNAV 25 right for Daytona.
4 Mike Victor, thank you. Select vectors to final for the RNAV 25 right approach. Traffic 12 to 1 o'clock, 4 miles, opposite direction, allocate 3000.
Looking for traffic, I'll expect vectors to final for 25 right.
4 Mike Victor, turn 10 degrees left, vectors to final approach course.
10 degrees left, vector final approach course, 4 Mike Victor. Been told we're getting vector to final. We'll come in somewhere between Wogad and Dayak, most likely. Hold the G1000, we're getting vector to final, and I'm manually controlling heading with the autopilot now. Could go in and tell this we're now going to do vectors to final on the flight plan. And we're going. There we go. We're coming in from the north. Like for runway 7 left, 25 right, the tower is 1207, which is most likely what we're going to get next. Set up.
4 Mike Victor, traffic 1 o'clock and 3 miles northbound, 3,500. Additional traffic 12 o'clock, 6 miles, opposite direction, 3,500 indicated.
Looking for traffic, 814 Mike Victor. Be able to see this. That's the one right there. Negative contact on the traffic for 4 Mike Victor.
100. 4 Mike Victor, this out one at your 2 o'clock and about a mile and a half northbound. The other one's more effective for you. It's at your 11 o'clock and 2 miles opposite direction, 3,400 still.
I got him on the ADS-B, but looking visual, 814 Mike Victor.
Thank you.
Traffic at my 11 o'clock in sight for 4 Mike Victor.
Roger.
Daytona approach, Caravan 211 Mike Bravo, 7,000, climb at 8,000.
Caravan 1 Mike Bravo, correction, 211 Mike Bravo, Daytona approach, Roger, Daytona Tower 3017. When able, you're cleared to the Bano intersections on the Thor 3 arrival. And ready, 14 Mike Victor, you can contact approach on 125.8, good day.
125.8 for 4 Mike Victor, so long.
41 Delta, climb and maintain 9,000.
Daytona approach, Cessna 814 Mike Victor, level 4,000.
814 Mike Victor, Daytona, roger. 4 Mike Victor, descend and maintain 3,000.
Leaving 4 for 3,000, 814 Mike Victor.
Number 4 Mike Victor, turn 10 degrees to the left.
10 degrees to the left for 4 Mike Victor. Daytona approach is starting to get us set up to fly the approach to be vectored to final. We'll keep descending, ultimately down to possibly as low as 1,600 feet, which is the crossing altitude for DIAC. Just getting ready for the approach. At this point, we're going to come in somewhere inside of Wogad. We get brought down to 1,600 feet, cross DIAC at 1,600, and before Banner, we'll descend to 1,040. Down to 560 to cross Capti, and then 460. Looking for the runway. You're flying a LNAV, which is equivalent to a non-precision VOR type approach. Your step-down minimums are clearly identified on the approach plate. However, how fast or how slowly you get down there is up to you as the pilot. If you had a lower ceiling, you might want to descend quicker, get below the clouds, start looking for the runway. A high ceiling, it's not really a problem. You can take your time getting down to each fix. Fixes do have a minimum crossing altitude. You cannot be lower than that altitude when you cross the fix, and that's typically for obstruction of clearance. We've already activated the approach. Vectors to final mode. PS has not started coming in yet on the G1000. We're too far from the final approach course. Once it starts coming in, I can activate approach mode on the autopilot. The GPS will guide the autopilot. In a moment here, I'm going to get
814 Mike Victor, descend and maintain 1,600.
Leaving 3,000 for 1,600. 14 Mike Victor. I've told the autopilot to descend us to 1,600 feet. Mixture back in since we're getting below 3. Coming in right between DIAC and Wogad.
814 Mike Victor, turn right heading 220, join the final approach course inbound.
Turn right heading 220, join the final approach course inbound. 814 Mike Victor. Approach 814 Mike Victor. I'm just going to terminate this with a low approach and then a departure northbound back to Craig Airport and would like flight following.
That's 4 Mike Victor.
That's for 4 Mike Victor.
All right, 4 Mike Victor, upon completion of this approach, fly runway heading, maintain 2,000, and your departure frequency will be 125.35.
After the approach, fly runway heading, climb to 2,000, departure frequency is 125.35, 814 Mike Victor.
Victor, Rebecca is correct, you're 3 from DIAC, maintain 1,600 to establish on the final approach course, cleared RNAV 25 right approach.
Clear RNAV 25 right approach, 814 Mike Victor. I'm inside of DIAC for my descent. Daytona Tower, Cessna 814 Mike Victor on the approach.
814 Mike Victor, Daytona Tower, runway 25 right, cleared for the option.
Cleared for the option, runway 25 right, 814 Mike Victor. Cross Banner at 1,040 as I set the autopilot for 1,100.
Daytona Tower, Riddle 490, runway 25 right at November 10, ready for departure.
490 Daytona Tower, roger.
Okay, and I get down to 560 at Capti. At Capty, I can go down to 460. I'm inside of Capty, now I can come down to 460.
Minimums.
At this point in the approach, the plane has reached the minimum descent altitude of 460 feet at 0.8 nautical miles from the end of the runway. In order to continue the descent and land, the visual criteria listed in 91.175 must be visible, and they are. Since the minimum visibility for this approach is a half mile, it's okay to continue flying along at 460 feet while looking for the visual indications of the runway environment. This runway is over 10,000 feet long. However, if you don't see it until the missed approach point at the threshold, it's unlikely there is the required half-mile visibility, so a missed approach would still be required. Looking at the approach plate, there is an indication of where to begin the descent from the MDA. Although this is not a true visual descent point, it's a good recommendation to begin the descent from MDA, roughly halfway between Capty and the missed approach point at the runway threshold, which is where the plane is at the moment. Given the runway length here, even if the descent is started late, it's feasible to land in the first one-third of the runway. If this were a 3,500-foot runway, it's unlikely a safe landing could be made unless the descent commenced at least a half to 1 mile out. Thanks for riding along, and I hope this flight gave you a feel for what instrument flying is all about. To take the next step, check out Sporty's instrument rating course, which includes 13 hours of in-flight HD cross-country and instrument approach video training and comprehensive written test preparation tools. You can learn more about the course, as well as find a large collection of new articles, videos, quizzes, and podcasts, all geared towards IFR flying at sportys.com/IFR. And if you're like me from a few years ago, these resources are a great way to get current too if you have an instrument rating and are out of practice. Fly safe.